The sun was setting slowly over the red-soiled village in western Kenya. Birds flew back to their nests, and children ran around playing with makeshift balls. In the middle of this quiet evening, Joseph sat on a wooden stool outside his mother's mud-walled house. His wife, Mary, sat beside him, her head resting on his shoulder. Joseph was a man of big dreams, but small means. He had grown up poor, walking barefoot to school, and eating only one proper meal a day. But in his heart, he always believed that one day life would be better. That belief became stronger when he married Mary. She was his childhood sweetheart, the one who always encouraged him, even when things were tough. Together, they dreamt of building a good life, maybe starting a family, and living in a decent home made of bricks instead of mud. But reality was harsh. Jobs were scarce. Joseph tried farming, but the rains had failed. He tried odd jobs, but they barely brought in enough for food. Bills were piling up. Mary did her best. She cooked, cleaned, and even helped neighbors with laundry to earn a few coins. One evening, Joseph broke the news. "Mary," he said, his voice low but steady, "I have decided. I must go abroad. It is the only way to give us a better life." Mary's eyes widened. She had heard stories of men leaving for foreign countries, chasing green pastures. Some returned rich, others returned empty-handed, or never came back at all. "Joseph," she whispered, "are you sure? What if something happens? What if you forget us?" Joseph held her hand tightly. "I can never forget you. You are my wife, my heart. I will work hard, and I will send money home. We will build a house. We will live a good life." Her eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. "If this is what you believe will help us, then I will wait for you, no matter how long it takes." That night, they slept in each other's arms, their hearts full of both hope and fear. 2 weeks later, Joseph boarded a bus to Nairobi, then a plane to a foreign country he had only seen in newspapers. Mary stood at the dusty bus stop, waving until the bus disappeared. Her heart ached, but she held on to his promise. "I can never forget you." The first months abroad were harder than Joseph had ever imagined. The weather was cold, biting through his thin jacket. The language was strange, and he struggled to understand people. Jobs were tough to find, and many looked down on foreigners. But Joseph was determined. He could not fail, not after the tears in Mary's eyes when he left. He found work in a restaurant washing dishes. The shifts were long, his hands soaked in soapy water until they cracked. Later, he worked in construction, carrying heavy loads for hours. His body ached every night, but he pushed himself. Every month, no matter how little he earned, he sent money back home. Mary would receive it, her face lighting up with relief. She used it to buy food, pay debts, and even save a little. Joseph called whenever he could. Sometimes he would speak for only 2 minutes because of expensive call rates, but those minutes kept Mary's hope alive. "Mary, are you okay?" he would ask. "Yes, I am fine," she would reply. "We miss you, but we are proud of you." Her voice gave him strength. He imagined her waiting for him, cooking in their small kitchen, smiling as she received the money. But loneliness is a dangerous thing. Far from home, Joseph longed for companionship, for laughter, for someone to talk to. And that is when temptation came. Part 3. The temptation arrives. It was on a rainy Friday evening. Joseph had just finished his shift at the restaurant when he met her. Her name was Anita. She was charming, bold, and spoke to him with a sweetness that melted his loneliness. "You look tired," she said, smiling as she handed him an umbrella. From that day, they began talking more. She invited him to join her friends at parties. At first, Joseph resisted. He remembered Mary's face, her promises, her prayers. But slowly, Anita's laughter, her warmth, and her touch weakened his resolve. "You work too hard," Anita would say. "Come, live a little. You are still young." Joseph started visiting her more often. He felt alive in her presence. She made him forget the struggles, the pain, the cold nights. She made him feel like a man of importance. But with that feeling came recklessness. The phone calls to Mary became fewer. The money he sent home reduced. Mary wondered why, but she never complained. She thought maybe things were tough. Meanwhile, Joseph was spending on Anita, on drinks, on gifts, on nights filled with passion. They stopped using protection, and Joseph told himself it was love. He didn't notice how far he was drifting from his wife. Back in Kenya, Mary waited faithfully. She prayed for Joseph every night, asking God to protect him and bring him back safe. She used the little money he had sent to start a small kiosk, selling vegetables and soap. She worked hard, believing her husband was still thinking of her. But Joseph had forgotten. Joseph's life had changed completely. Nights at the club, mornings wasted in bed, afternoons filled with laughter and empty promises. Anita was always by his side, and Joseph believed nothing could go wrong. But slowly, his body started to weaken. He lost appetite. He coughed constantly. At first, he thought it was just the weather. He bought medicine over the counter, hoping it would pass. But the sickness grew worse. One evening, as he looked at himself in the mirror, he was shocked. His once strong body had grown thin. His eyes looked tired, his skin pale. Fear began to creep in. Still, he told himself it was nothing serious. He didn't want to worry Anita. He didn't dare call Mary. How could he, when he had abandoned her? But when the cough worsened and the fever refused to leave, Joseph finally went to a clinic. The doctor looked at him with a serious face. "We need to run some tests," the doctor said. Joseph nodded nervously. When the results came, his world collapsed. "You have HIV/AIDS, the doctor said gently. Joseph felt the ground shift beneath him. His ears rang. His chest tightened. Tears blurred his eyes. No, "This cannot be true," he whispered. "Not me." But it was true. The nights of reckless passion had caught up with him. He went home that night and cried like a child. For days, he locked himself inside, refusing to answer calls. Anita, realizing the truth, slowly drifted away. She stopped visiting. She stopped calling. Joseph was left alone, broken and ashamed. His health worsened. He could no longer work long hours. His employers grew frustrated. Soon, he lost his job. In that country, if you could not work, you were a burden. And foreigners without jobs had no place. The day came when immigration officers knocked on his door. "Pack your things," one of them said coldly. "You are being deported." Joseph packed a small bag. He had nothing left, no money, no friends, no strength. His dreams had turned into ashes. As the plane took off, he pressed his face to the window. He thought of Mary. He thought of her smile, her prayers, her faith in him. Shame burned in his chest. How could he face her now? When Joseph landed in Nairobi, he was a shadow of the man who had left. Thin, weak, and trembling, he boarded a bus back to his village. The journey felt endless. Every bump on the road shook his fragile body. When he finally arrived, the familiar dusty path brought tears to his eyes. Children stared at him, shocked at how much he had changed. Mary was at the kiosk when she saw him. Her heart stopped. She dropped the basket she was holding and ran to him. "Joseph," she cried, tears rolling down her cheeks. He looked down, ashamed. "Mary, I have failed you." But she hugged him tightly. "You are my husband. No matter what, you are home now." Joseph broke down, sobbing in her arms. "I betrayed you. I forgot you. I have nothing left. I am sick." Mary wiped his tears. "Joseph, do not cry. When you sent money at the beginning, I saved it. I started this kiosk. I bought a piece of land. We have something. We have hope." Joseph stared at her in disbelief. While he was destroying himself abroad, Mary had been building a future at home. She had remained faithful, praying for him every night, never knowing the truth about why he stopped sending money. The twist of fate cut deep into Joseph's heart. He realized that the true treasure was never in the foreign land. It had always been in the arms of his faithful wife. As his health declined, Mary cared for him tenderly. She cooked for him, took him to the clinic, and never once reminded him of his betrayal. And every time Joseph looked at her, guilt and gratitude mixed in his heart. He knew he didn't deserve her love, but she gave it anyway.